Well, the injury news continues to pile up for Nebraska. Hi, Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com. Head coach Matt Rhule delivered a number of them on his offensive line as multiple players are out for the season, and Rhule out for a few weeks, as well as wide receiver Billy Kemp.
As we move forward, just a couple injury updates. We're a pretty beat-up team right now. Ethan Piper is done for the year. He'll have knee surgery. Turner Corcoran is done for the year. He'll have foot surgery. Nuri's in surgery right now. Nuri will be out for probably 1 to 2 weeks. So we'll have to have some guys step up. So with that, Billy Kemp will be out multiple weeks with an MCL sprain. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. That's really it. So Tom will be day by day. So we're not, Tommy Hill's kind of superhuman healing powers. I'm sure Tommy will be back. Probably be at practice tomorrow, but he'll be day to day. So
what does that mean for the offensive line moving forward?
I thought in the last game, a lot of guys stepped up when their number was called. I thought Justin Evans-Jenkins came in both at guard and then at center. Henry Lutovsky is a guy that's been a starter for us at guard. Teddy Prohaska is a guy that's been waiting his turn. So we have lots of guys who started games here on the offensive line. I think Teddy's a starter for us. Teddy can absolutely play at a super high level. He's had the benefit of all these weeks of practice, of getting his feet underneath him. Got some reps in the Michigan game. He wasn't quite to full speed yet at the Michigan game. He's to full speed now. That knee's healthy. And he's ready to go. So, I love those guys. Those are great guys. Turner and Pipe, that left side of that line. But Teddy's OOU. He'll be ready to go. I think again, just getting that sort of that rep as the jumbo tight end has helped him. And then he's gotten a lot of reps in practice. So Teddy will play really well for us.
And you might even see some of the younger guys like Gunnar Gatula and Sam Sledge, true freshmen, maximize their 4 games.
On the offensive line, we have some really good young O-linemen that we've been redshirting, and Sam Sledge and Gunnar Gatula. Gunnar was there with us in the spring. Gunnar can play. And so those guys are coming up on, hey, they've got 4 games, so they'll be ready in the jumbo tight end and the field goal team. Jacob Hood is back and been playing. Tyler Canuck we brought in. So those guys, those guys have really come along. And again, when we got here and Coach Osborne and Coach Solich and those guys talked about, the 2 platoon practices and all that, which we've done some of in the past, and just doing a little bit more of it. I think it's going to pay off right now for us.
This football team, though, continues to battle, and Rhule is proud of what his team has overcome and where they're at here through 7 games.
Never. Yeah, I've never had anything close to this. So, but you know what? We press on. There's no sadness in me, like a sadness for my guys. I love those guys. I couldn't have even thought of having another receiver go down. But and this is not but from a football perspective. When we walk out on the field on this coming Saturday, all but 2 guys will be underclassmen on the offense. So those guys are learning by fire. You know what I mean? And you know what? When given a chance, Malachi Coleman went and made a play. When given a chance, Emmett Johnson went and made a play. When given a chance, Justin went out and played well. When given a chance, Jalen Lloyd has made plays. When given a chance, so we have enough players to win with, and we got guys who can help us. So we'll just have to continue to step up.
Meanwhile, this defense is the story. Ty Robinson had one of his best games of his career.
Other guys sometimes get sacks because he runs up the field, makes the quarterback run for his life. On the last sack of the game, he beats the guy one-on-one. He was absolutely dominant in my mind. By far Ty's best game. The type of game that moves you up a couple rounds in the draft. I thought he looked excellent. I always go back to the tape, not the stat line. Like at the end of the game, I'm always when I'm walking out of the media room and I see Nash there, I'm like, they picked you, huh? And he's like, yeah, you had 2.5 sacks. I can't even tell that sometimes during the game, what's happening. But when I watch the tape, I just think Ty hit his stride. And that doesn't mean that. They're both hitting their stride. And then Cam comes in, and then Jamari's playing well. But I think Ty's someone that the other team has to take account of when he plays.
Another player that's playing at a high level is Nash Hutmacher.
I know Nash. People were talking. I thought when you watch tape, Nash played great, and Ty Robinson was absolutely dominant. And so we'll need those guys to play well. We'll need other guys to step up, and there's a standard here, and everyone has to meet the standard. So,
this past week, we saw Emmett Johnson get the start at running back. Anthony Grant has been more of the featured back before that. How will Rhule kind of shake things up this week at running back?
Yeah, I think it's one of those deals where Emmett can kind of do everything for us, and Emmett had some good plays for us. Anthony held onto the ball. Anthony had a great run on a run. Josh Fleeks is a guy that we want to continue to get in the game. So I think all three of those guys are going to continue to play. And I'd like to have more plays. I'd like to have more tailback runs. So hopefully we can continue to get those guys more involved. But it'll be all three of those guys, pending a good week of practice and pending ball security.
Meanwhile, Purdue comes to Lincoln fresh off their bye week, and Nebraska has to be ready for about anything.
This is the challenge this week is, hey, let's take care of the football. This Purdue team that we're facing, they're going to put pressure on you. They're going to come after you. Coach Walters is a defensive mastermind. They've had a bye week. When you come off of a bye week, all of a sudden we go out against Northwestern and they're in tackle over. And they're doing all these different things on offense. They're doing different things on defense. We're facing another team coming off a bye week. When you have a young team, they have to be able to adjust quickly. We have a lot in front of us, so we cannot put the ball on the ground. We have to protect the football and battle it out to the very last play of the game.
And finally, there's been a lot of discussion throughout college football about sign stealing. And Michigan is the team right now in conversation. Matt Rhule was first asked, did Michigan, he thinks, look at their signs?
No one from the Big Ten or NCAA has asked me anything yet, so I'm not going to probably comment on anything like that. I would never want to cast shade at somebody else going through a hard time. I don't know anything.
And Rhule brings up a good point. He said a lot of this would go away if college football went to a helmet headset.
Sign stealing happens every game. There's nothing wrong with teams over there looking over trying to steal our signs. There's nothing wrong with us trying to look at their signs. It's why you should have mics in the helmets, right? Like all these coaches that vote against it every year is because they don't want to teach their quarterback. In the NFL, quarterback goes out there with 3 play calls because if I see the free safety's foot like that, it might be one high. I'm going to check to this play, but you get to college and you're watching a game on a Tuesday night, and they got the signal and they're just calling a play. So that's what makes college football, to me. That's why they score maybe more points, but it's also why the kids are less prepared. So that's why there should be 100% should be. We could get rid of all the stupid signs on the sidelines, and we could get pictures of rock stars and all that stuff, and we could just play football the way it was meant to be. You go to a high school game, there's technology on the sideline. You go to an NFL game, there's technology on the sideline. You go to the college, there's nothing. Like if you don't think, so that it should be that. But that's sign stealing. That's not. I would not carry that over to going and filming someone else's practices or something like that, or filming someone else's games. That's completely something different. And I'm not saying that happened, but I think what's wrong partly in our society right now sometimes is we say, someone does something against the rules, and sports need rules, right? Sports need rules to keep competitive balance. And when someone does something against the rules, we say, well, should that really even be a rule? And it is the rule. That's the rule, right? Like I didn't get to play with. We don't get 5 downs. But in game, stealing of signs. When I play against somebody and I know that person has friends on the next staff, I know if they have our signs, they're having it the next week. That's all part of the game, and you have to do what you do. We should absolutely have technology, but if there's a rule, the rule should be followed. And I'm not speaking about what's happening right now because I don't know what happened. But if that is happening somewhere, it's completely, completely wrong.
With the Huskers here in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.